Good morning everyone, Dr. Nat here. Let's continue from where we left from last week. We have done activity number 1 and activity number 2 for lab number 1. This is lab number 1, activity 3. So let's take a look at this diagram first. We have a circle with diameter of 35 and this is called a center line. We have covered this in lecture number 2. And then this is just some indication that this is actually a circle and the circle has a diameter of 70. And then we have 4 circles that are situated at 45 degrees and the circle has a radius of 17.5. And then we have another circle over here and everything is symmetrical, so we have 4 of those, and this circle has a radius of 22. So let's do this one first and we'll do this one a bit later. So let's start. So I have saved the diagram just now into a JPEG and I'm going to attach it into the AutoCAD. So I'm going to specify it here. It's going to be too big, I know it. So let's try to scale it down. And then scale, specify base point, and then I'm going to make it really small, just enough. Okay, so I have this as my guideline. Hopefully this size is okay as our reference. Okay, so let's start with the first circle in the middle. I'm going to click on send circle with diameter. And then I'm going to specify that diameter to be 35. So how do you know whether this circle is asking you diameter or radius? You click on this a bit longer than usual. It has circle, center, radius, and then this guy, the second one is circle, center, diameter. So you're going to pick that one. Okay, 35. Okay, easy. And then the next one would be to make a circle is slightly bigger with a diameter of 70, and again we're going to pick the diameter one. Make sure the object snap is turned on. Object snap is over here. Make sure you have it. You have the midpoint clicked, you have center clicked, and geometric center clicked. Okay, so this thing highlighted means it's on. Now let's make another circle with a diameter of 70. Now this is going to be in my way, so I'm going to move it. I'm going to use this guy to move over here. Okay, so the next thing to do would be to have a circle on 45 degrees, at 45 degrees, and the circle has a radius of 17.5. But first I want to do my center line. So how do I do that? So I'm going to click on line and find the midpoint. I'm going to drag it up here using the guideline. Make sure you have your object snap on so that we have the guideline. And then I'm going to make another another line. And then I'm going to change this line type. So right now the line type is continuous. I'm going to click on it, click properties. And then here you would see that, you would see that there is a property called line type. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to click on manage. So now you're going to click on load and you need to find center. So since our diagram is quite small, I'm going to start with center 0.5. If the diagram is quite big, you're going to pick the regular center. So because this is quite small, we're going to pick 0.5. Preload. Because I already have it, I need to reload. But if you don't have it, click on that. Make sure it's here and then select. So now my line is now a center line. Okay, so I'm going to make this slightly smaller like that. Just click on it and dragging it. Make sure it's still 90 degrees. And then the same thing over here. Make sure you're just selecting one line at a time. And then properties. Click on line type and then select center 2 because that is the smaller version of center. And then I'm going to drag it like that so that it's a bit smaller. I think that was not symmetrical enough. Okay, like that. Make sure you're following the guideline. Like that. So now I have a center line. Let's check our diagram. The next one would be to have a circle at 45 degrees. I'm going to make one line over here just as a guide. How do I make a 45 degrees? I'm going to go over here, click on it for a bit, right click, and make sure you're selecting 45. Again, click on this polar tracking, right click, click on 45. And then make sure you're following the guide. And then make sure your object snap, right click. Do not, make sure nearest is unticked. I don't want that. Again, make sure nearest is unticked. We just want endpoint, midpoint, center, geometric center, and intersection at this point. So again, 45 degrees. You would see the angle is 45 degrees. Follow the guide. That's how you know you are doing it correctly. Like that. Okay. So now I need a circle. Let's see. My circle should be, oh sorry, this is the wrong diagram. My circle should be 17.5 radius. Okay, back to this guy. Picking circle center radius. This would be my center. And the radius should be 17.5. Okay, so now I'm going to trim it like that. Okay, and after trimming it, I'm going to make a copy of this. I'm going to select array instead of copy this time. So array, I'm going to pick polar and then specify the point of the array. So array gives us something that is like a matrix of the diagram, but we have to pick a center if we are selecting polar. So click the midpoint, and here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 of the circles, which we don't want. We only want 4. So I'm going to select 4 like that. Okay, so now we have 4 circles using the array command. Okay, next is making this very smooth looking circle that is connected to the next circle. So how do we do that? We use circle, tangent, tangent. Again, circle, tangent, tangent, radius. So I'm going to specify the point on which the circle is tangent to. So since the circle is, this circle is tangent to these 2 circles, so that is where I need to click. Again, selecting circle, tangent, tangent, radius. Click on that. It's asking me to specify point on object for first tangent of circle. We know that we need the circle to be tangent to this guy and this guy. So here you would see the symbol tangent. So that is how it looks like. Look at the green icon. That is the symbol for tangent. So click on that. Doesn't matter where, as long as you're touching the circle. And the second point over here. And then now it's asking us to specify the radius. The radius should be 22. So now we have a circle that is tangent to these 2 circles, and they are very close together. I wouldn't be able to do this just by adjusting or selecting position. But I can do this very nicely using circle, tangent, tangent, radius. Of course, you can do this, but it will take a lot more effort. And then I'm going to do array again. So polar, specify point. And again, I want my polar to only have 4 objects. So this is what I have. And then I need to trim. Okay, so the thing with array, when we use array, they are actually together as a group. Meaning to say, if you trim one, you are trimming everything. So what we need to do is, we need to explode this diagram first. By exploding, we are breaking all the details into their separate objects. So that when we trim, it's not going to delete everything. Okay, so again, explode. Make sure you're selecting everything, explode. So now if I click on it, the array is no longer a single object. It is an individual object by its own. Okay, now we're going to use trim. Oh, so I did not manage to do that. So using array did not give me a very good tangent circle. So I'm going to undo what I did just now. Okay. Okay, let's do it manually. So circle, tangent, radius. Okay, and then specify radius 22, enter. Same thing over here. Tangent, 22 radius, enter. And then the same thing. Tangent, 22 radius, enter. Now we can trim it. So now we have a very good looking tangent. Very smooth. Get rid of this. Get rid of this as well. So I did not explode the array just now. So let's explode it again. Okay, so now we can trim. So we don't want to trim the inside circle, only the rest. Okay. Oh, we missed one over here and over here. Okay. So now that we have this, let's do the dimensions. Okay, so to do dimension, oops. Okay, dim radius. Dim radius will help us do the dimensions for circles. So select arc, like that. And then this guy can also do 17.5. And then this guy is also 17.5. No, I think this is incorrect. Dim red. So we completely did not get the circle in here. Let's do this one first. So this one is radius 17.5. That. Okay, 17.5, 17.5. We have the 22. And we need another one to indicate the circle inside. So I'm just going to make one really quick. Make sure you're selecting the midpoint because we have a bunch of stuff there. Oh no, I don't like this. Okay, but let's make the dim red first. I'm gonna select this and make sure that, okay, like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna select this and delete. So we don't have any indication that this is actually a circle, so let's make that. I'm gonna use arc here. So specify I'm going to use that as a reference. Make arc 3 points. 1. Oops. And then for object snap, we're going to select nearest. click on 3 points, nearest 1, 2, 3, and again, nearest 1, 2, 3, and again, nearest 1, 2, 3. We're just following the circle, but we're making a small arc. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then delete this. So now we have those arcs. So now we're going to make small lines. Make sure now nearest is unticked. Nearest will cause us a lot of troubles if we don't get rid of it. Okay. It's okay, just make the small line at the midpoint of the arc. Make sure it's 45 degrees. Make sure your polar tracking is on. Okay, we don't need this. Maybe we can do a small one over here. That. Okay. And then we're gonna extend it. Now, I can adjust this a bit to make it align with this guy, so it looks good. And move this over here, like so. So now we have all the information. So if I were to look at this, right? If I were to look at this, I will know that, okay, we have circles here that has a radius of 17.5, and then this circle is 17.5 as well. This circle is 35. Maybe this can be improved a bit so that it doesn't confuse people. Like that. 35. And we know that this is a center line, which means that this is pretty symmetrical, and this is a circle for sure. And this circle that is tangent to these guys over here has a radius of 22. Because everything is symmetrical, we can just assume everything is going to be the same. So that's your first diagram. So if I were to print this in layout, it will look like this. I'm going to get rid of this guy, but later, because we're going to do the second one. So click on model space. So I'm going to zoom in a bit like that. So this will be your first object, and you can situate the second object over here, or you can have it in a different diagram. Now, before you print this as PDF and upload it on Padlet, make sure to click on this. Make sure you are in paper space. Just now was model space, which means that I could edit the things inside here. I want to be in paper space. So paper space means that I can't, I can't edit. But I can edit this guy. So now this is going to be Lab 1, Activity 3. Again, if I am in model space, this is called model space. This is model space. See, you have this indication. If you have this indication, you know that you can actually edit this figure. And clicking on this brings me to paper space, which means that I am only editing the template out here. So just edit this, lab, and the date. Just click on it and just adjust the date. Okay, and then print as usual. Okay, let's continue to the second object for activity number 3. Back to model over here. Okay, so I'm going to drag this somewhere else first. Let's move it here. Whoopsie. Why is it not moving? Move. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to do it over here. Like that. Specify base point like that. Okay, next up object. So here we have a circle that is 26 in diameter. If I'm looking at this correctly. 26 diameter. 52 diameter. And then we have a line here that is connecting between these two circles. So this will be our guideline. And then this circle is 16 in diameter, and then we have a 36 diameter. We have a tangent circle over here, 42, another tangent circle, 96. And then we have, how is this connected? From the center of this circle, I don't know if you can see it. From this center, we have to adjust this by 80, and then go upwards by 40, and then this will be the center of the circle over here. And then we have array. This array is 10 in diameter circle. And then we have another circle out here which is 60 diameter, and then this is a circle. I believe this is a circle. I can't really see. Okay, this is 42 radius, and then it's just connected. I guess this is supposed to be tangent as well. Okay, so let's try. So we start with this, the left side of this object. We're going to start with diameter, the small guy first, which is 26. Enter. Oh, that is pretty big. Okay. And then we have another one of 52. Same center. So make sure you're selecting the same center. And then it's asking us to specify the diameter of the circle, which is 52. So now it's overlapping a bit. I'm going to move. Type move. Find the base point, move it a bit. Okay. Next one is that we should make our center line, because that is going to be our guideline. Okay, so this, I'm just gonna make one really quick. And we'll adjust the length later. Like that. Okay, so this line from this midpoint to this midpoint, the distance should be given. I am not seeing it. Okay, so it's 85. It's 85, okay? So from the midpoint of this circle to the next midpoint, it should be 85. So I'm going to make a line that is 85 as my guide. And then that should be the next midpoint. So this guy would have a 36 diameter, no, 16 diameter, and then 36. 16 and then 36. Like that. And then we have a tangent circle of 42 and 96. Tangent radius. First tangent, second tangent, the radius is 42. And then the second one, same command, tangent radius for circle. Let's try to observe. This is the first tangent and the second tangent. First tangent, second tangent, radius should be 96. Enter. So it's a really huge circle. So now we're going to trim it. So we have something like that. Let's adjust our center line. Okay. So now we know that this midpoint to this midpoint is 80 over here and 40 up here. Okay. So 80 going to the right and 40. Now make sure you're selecting ortho mode, going upwards by 40. So that is the midpoint for the next circle, or the circle on the right. So the circle on the right has a 26 diameter and then 60. Okay, I'm not sure if I selected the midpoint correctly. Let me do that again. What was it? I am very forgetful. 26 and 60. Okay, and then same, circle center diameter 60. So that is what we have so far. Okay, next one would be to make the small circles that is in an array, and we have 8 of these. So let's do array. I'm gonna adjust this a bit so that I have a guide. Circle is, this is 8 times 10 diameter. Click on the center. This is the reason why I needed that guide. The diameter is 10. Okay, so now we're going to make an array. Type in array, polar, click the center. I need 8. Like that. Okay. So now I'm going to change this guy. As you can see over here, it looks like a center, it's like a dashed line, right? So we're going to copy that. Change the properties. Okay. And then select the line type. I'm going to manage, click on manage. I'm going to load, and then I'm going to use ISO dash. Hopefully this is the right one. Let us see. We can just adjust it later. So it's not showing up. Maybe this is too big. So I'm going to try again. Properties. Line type. Should we just use center? Okay, I want to do dash. So this is kind of big, right? Load. So this is dash 0.5. Let's use that. Dash 0.5. Where is it? Yeah. So that is what we have. But this is kind of a lot. Let me try again. I'm going to use line type. This guy. Oh yeah, this one is better. I think I did not select it when I loaded. Okay. So this is AutoCAD ISO. It's just a dash line, but it's slightly bigger. Okay, so now we need to do the tangent. Wait, I actually deleted the circle just now. Let's just make it again. Oh, actually the circle is 42 in radius. Like that. Okay, so now we can start doing our tangent. So first go to object snap, right, and unclick endpoint, and then you're going to find tangent. Click on that, select line. So I'm going to untick everything, I think, except for tangent, because that is going to be what we're working with. Later we can just select this again. Okay, double check, you only have your tangent, should be okay, and then click, make sure this guy is highlighted. Okay, so now let's try to use line and make it tangent. So here we have the icon tangent, which means that we are working in the right mode. Click on that and click on that. So that is our tangent line that is tangent to this circle and this circle. I'm going to repeat that again for this guy and this guy. Okay, so now we do the trimming. What do we need to trim? So this is going to be a dash line, a center line. This is also a center line. Do we have any extra stuff that we don't need? Okay, we don't need this. And we don't need this. We're going to do that with dimensions later. Like that. Then do we need this? We need the center line. Okay, let's do our center lines first. So the center line extends a bit upwards. Make sure we are in ortho mode and our object snap is back to regular mode. And unclick tangent. Okay. And then select properties. Line type should be center to. Okay. Okay, so it's not selecting the midpoint. Okay. Okay, center over here as well, properties, center to, this guy as well, properties, center to, and this guy, did I do it yet? Yeah. So it doesn't really appear like a center line because there's an extra line over there. So get rid of that. Now we have our center line. And again, this is not extended, but it should be. Oh no. Why is it not? It's not cooperating. Okay, never mind. We actually do not, or we do have a center line. Okay. Let's try this again. So I did the center lines. So now let's do dim red or dim radius. Okay, select the circle. This guy is going to be 13. Not really good. Again, dim red. I'm gonna untick ortho mode. Why is it not moving? Okay, again, dim red. This is 42. Then Okay. I am not happy with this. Let's try this again. Okay, so is this obvious? It's not. Okay, I'm going to delete that. I don't know what's wrong with this. Okay, dim red again. Select an arc or a circle. Selecting this circle. Okay, that's much better. So now I know that this circle is 13. This small circle is 5, radius 42. And then this guy, we have not done it yet. So dim red. Okay, like that. Okay, and then this side over here, dim red. 13, dim red. 26, I do not like that one. Doesn't really give me a precise which circle is which. We have a lot of circles, so we need to be very specific. Okay, don't like that. Dim red. So even if I'm extending it outside, I still know that this is referring to this guy, right? So that is how clear the dimensions should be. You do not want your readers to second guess the dimensions. Okay, we are missing 2 more circles or arc. This is 42. And this one is 96. Okay, like that. Okay, so I finished off this object with dim for this from here to here, the midpoint, 40. And then from here to here is 80. Okay, so make sure your dimensions are all correct. I had to do this offline because I need to adjust some dimensions for the center line. It was not 90 degrees, so it was affecting my dimensions. Okay, so that is how you do activity 3 for lab number 1. So how do we adjust this to make sure everything appears? Again, model space, then zoom out a bit, get rid of the diagram here. Oops, not sure what happened here. Delete. Okay, let me do this in model. Select this guy, delete it, and then we need to adjust this, move, specify base point, just okay. So now let's take a look in models in the paper space. I'm just gonna make sure everything is fitting. So this can be adjusted a bit. This is kind of too far for dimension. I can make this closer together so that everything can fit in this space. Okay, so that is how you do activity 3. Yay. Okay, so that is it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.